So listen, here's the thing, right? Just let me get a gauge of, who I'm dealing with and we want to have a little fun today. Type yes into the chat box if you've ever been frustrated with the results you've gotten with your marketing. Okay? Now, I know you guys can all hear me. Daniel, John, just want to make sure. I'm turning my PowerPoint presentation on another screen, so my apologies. I'll check back to see. Yeah, of course, Steve. I know, Lewis. I hear you, brother. It's John. It's a shame. So let me get back to where we were on the screen. Just want to make sure dealing with like people, right? I mean, I'm just like you guys too. So now, Mark, if you're not having a sound, that could be on your end because everything looks good on this. So maybe check out and come back in. It could just be a glitch on your end. So here we go. All right. So listen, I get it. I really do. Okay. 99% of you don't even want to be dealing with marketing and advertising at all. It's not why you became a doctor. I totally understand. All you want is a simple, dependable system that you can finally rely on once and for all to bring in the new patients you want every day. One where there's absolutely nothing for you to do as a doctor and there's nothing new for you or your staff to learn. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Not at all. I think that's the least you deserve. Listen, I'm just like you. I think it's very important for you to know that. I was just lucky enough that at a critical time in my career, I finally learned the right way to market my practice. But I had to learn it from people outside of the industry. It instantly turned everything around for me. It's done the same for hundreds of doctors across the country. It can do the same for you. Look at the results these doctors are getting. This is from Stuart Swan, long time, been with me, 15 years plus. After 25 years in practice, I've seen it all. Dr. Rob is the real deal. In the very first week, we've started up 8 new patients so far, and we've got another 2 coming in tomorrow. And I've only invested $90. You can't beat it. This one, I've already had 5 new patients through the door so far this week. I'm so relieved to find something that actually works like somebody promised. I never would have dreamed it could be so cheap. And the way you do it, no contracts, no commitment. Dr. Jeff Ermacher from Aurora, Nebraska. He's also the founder and CEO of Doctors Wealth Secrets. He's a consultant. Some of you probably know him. This one, Jeff Gilbert, right? Oh, sorry, I skipped over one. That's okay. Oh, hang on. This one's for Pat Nicorato, President and CEO of Driving Force, another consultant, PNZ Management System. Dr. Rob has gotten hundreds of new patients for my members month in and month out for years. Hands down, the cheapest and simplest way they've ever gotten new patients. I've known Dr. Rob for more than 13 years now. Actually, that's more than 15 years now. Ever since I launched my own business helping chiropractors get new patients back in 2003. He's not one who seeks the spotlight. Instead, Dr. Rob prefers to operate behind the scenes, helping his members and private clients. He doesn't promote himself incessantly like so many others pride themselves on. But for the consultants, coaches, and doctors he chooses to work with, nobody's advice is more respected. This one from, that was the end of Pat's. Told you I'm no whiz with moving these things. Let me make sure first, everybody still hearing me okay? Steve, Russ, everybody hearing me okay? Just one you guys would sound off. We're chiropractors, right? We don't just take things. You'd let me know right away. So I'm going to just check back periodically. So this is from Mark Holland. Been with me, since 2003. With Dr. Rob, I'm finally getting the good cases I want, the ones we all want. I'll double my new patient numbers next month. This is Mark, St. Charles, right outside of St. Louis. This one's from Jeff Gilbert. Simply amazing. I've already gotten 6 new patients in the first 2 days, and it's so darn cheap. I've only spent $70. I can't wait to ramp up over the next few weeks. But the absolute best part is that I didn't have to do any work. I didn't have to make any decisions. I just sat back and the new patients called me. This one from Ryan Valensick, Fort Mill, South Carolina. Hey, Dr. Rob, just had to write and tell you that you're giving us the best cost per lead and ROI, which of course is the bottom line. Leads are one thing, right? We want paying new patients. Best cost per lead and ROI out of anything I'm currently doing. It's been great. Thanks. This one from Rob Rubino, New Haven, Connecticut. $108 invested, $3,000 return, and I'm just getting started. For the first time in years, I feel optimistic and hopeful about my future. You're the only consultant that has actually delivered the results promised. That means a lot to me. Over the last several years, I had become so gun-shy to try anything. Join the club. I'm getting good patients to call me for just 10 to 15 bucks a lead. That's Rob Rubino, New Haven, Connecticut. This one's from Timothy Dombowski in my old stomping grounds, Atlanta. Some amazing things have happened. My cost per new patient has been cut in half while my conversion rate has skyrocketed. It's a no-brainer. Oh, appreciate all these. Okay, this is from a husband and wife team. Probably a lot of you know Colleen Carberry and Mike. They run AMI, Advanced Medical Integration. Super people doing great things. They said, we're really excited to have Dr. Rob working with us, helping our group. I heard about the great results he was getting with Dr. Brandon Crater's Functional Medicine Masters Group, and I asked him if he would do the same for our AMI members. That's Colleen and her husband, Mike, founders of AMI. So let me ask you, if you don't do anything new, how is your practice going to look 6 months from now? Will you be worrying about money? Will you still be frustrated because you're not making the money you deserve? Will you be disappointed because you can't provide for your family the way you want? If you're not already living the life of your dreams, how much longer are you willing to wait until you start? Let's talk about something. The reality of attracting new patients to your clinic as a chiropractor. You don't just hang up your shingle and once people find out there's a new chiropractor in town, they start calling and booking appointments with us, right? That's just not happening. Not yet anyway. So here's the problem. The harsh truth is that chiropractic is simply one of the worst business models ever. What I mean is people would just rather pop a pill, cover up their symptoms, and go on their day, right? Go on with their day. It's much easier than taking the time to get the actual cause of the problem corrected, right? That's the bane of our existing, educating the public, right? MDs and the drug companies have brainwashed entire generations into thinking that this is how you should take care of your health, right? And the AMA and the pharmaceutical industry have worked very hard to make sure the public views us with distrust and skepticism. We're outsiders in the healthcare system, right? We're not real doctors. We can't even prescribe medication. And so for us, gaining the public's trust and respect and bringing in new patients for our clinics has always been a challenge. Type yes into the chat box if you've ever felt like a second-class citizen, right, in our healthcare system. Same question that we came up before, and it just keeps, repeating itself, right? Let me just make sure. I know we got people jumping in late on the call. Great. Every day. Okay, Cynthia. Russ. pretty. Russ, I'm going through. I want to make sure everybody gets the information. So trust me, you already spent the time. We're going to just be going here for another 30 minutes or so. So, we're going to get to all, the good stuff. Now, here's the saying, right? To make matters worse, we've all been taught to market chiropractic backwards. You never want to talk about you, your office, your state-of-the-art equipment, your gentle techniques, and especially not about chiropractic in any of your advertising. So how can advertising that never mentions your name or say anything about you or your practice be the key to ending your new patient worries? We're going to get to all that, but first, a quick story. Okay? Now, you know who that beautiful man is up there. Love him or hate him. I have mixed feelings, but there he is, Dr. Sid. Now, I graduated from Life College, now Life University, back in 1995, so I'm dating myself just by using that terminology, college. In fact, I was part of the centennial class. I walked on the exact day, September 18th, of the 100-year anniversary of D.D. Palmer giving the very first chiropractic adjustment to Harvey Lillard. When I attended Life, it was definitely the heyday of Dr. Sid Williams. And anybody that knows Dr. Sid knows he has a flair for the dramatic. So he made darn sure that as the centennial class, we walked on the exact day of that anniversary. Reason I bring this up is because he even hired some local actor to dress up as Dee Dee. And he was actually up on stage, this guy shaking the hand of each graduate as we received our diploma. It was the weirdest thing, even for Dr. Sid. I remember thinking, why the heck am I shaking hands and being congratulated by this guy who's just playing Dee Dee for the day? But if you know Dr. Sid, if you knew Dr. Sid at all, you understand. Anyway, as I got my diploma and walked off the stage, like everyone else, I was full of hope, excitement, and ready to change the world, right? One spine at a time. Not so fast, right? Not so fast. Now, if you've heard me speak before at seminars or conferences or any stage anywhere, you know my story. For those of you who don't, well, it's extremely personal and incredibly embarrassing, but here it is. After 3.5 years in practice, faithfully following the advice of the consultants and so-called marketing experts in our industry, I won't mention any names, but you know every one of them, here's where I found myself. It was the night of mine and my wife's 4-year wedding anniversary. Both of our cars had been repossessed the week before, right out of our clinic's parking lot as we watched helplessly. We knew what was going on, but we couldn't, very well just run out and start begging and pleading with the tow truck guy while patients were sitting right there in the, front waiting room, right by the front door, able to see the whole thing. My wife, who's also my office manager at the time, actually played it real cool when her car was taken. Just casually, matter-of-factly told some patient signing in at the front desk that her car had died as she was pulling into her parking spot that morning, and it was just being towed to the dealership to get looked at. She always knew what to say. Anyway, the month before that, now, of course, this isn't me and my family. This is one of my assistants pulling up a picture that he thought would be humorous, looks more like college students, and that actually looks like a pretty, I went to Boston College, did my undergraduate work there, but that looks exactly like one of the dorm rooms in the basement of my my campus freshman year. But anyway, the month before that, we had to move into the basement of my mother-in-law's house. Me, my wife, my stepdaughter, and our 2 dogs, because we could no longer pay our mortgage. That was fun. And now, here me and my wife are on the night of our anniversary, anxiously pacing around, waiting, hoping, praying this one cash-paying patient would show up for his appointment so I would have $35. The $35 I needed to take my wife out to this crappy little, pardon my French, crappy little all-you-can-eat Chinese food buffet to celebrate. Thank God she's a cheap date. She just loved this place. But let's face it, it was totally pathetic. I couldn't have felt like more of a loser. Let me tell you, and some of you know this yourselves, unfortunately, a life filled with tension, struggle, worry, and frustration over money is hardly a life at all. I know a lot of you out there nodding your heads right now, unfortunately. At dinner that night, my wife and I had a real heart-to-heart talk, and I told her, as much as I love chiropractic, loved my patients, loved helping people, knew what I was doing was very important, I guess I just didn't have what it took to make a living at it. I was devastated. So was she. Both started crying right at the table. What a sight we must have been, blubbering away in between bites of egg rolls and dumplings. I couldn't believe my chiropractic dream, the dream I had sacrificed everything for, quit my well-paying sales job in Boston for, uprooted my life and relocated to Atlanta for, took out a huge amount of student loans for, was over. And then that weekend, just as I was about to throw in the towel and call it quits, I was introduced to Dan Kennedy. Now, for those of you who don't know, Dan Kennedy is generally considered the godfather of modern day direct response marketing, a true legend and marketing genius. He pioneered, developed, and refined many of the most successful marketing strategies used today by businesses all over the world, whether they know it or not. You'd be hard-pressed to name a well-known, respected marketer in any industry who hasn't been heavily influenced by the man, whether they know it or not. He was a mentor of mine as well for the past 16 years. So there I was, feeling sorry for myself, and I'd totally forgotten, but about a week or so earlier, I had ordered this manual from Dan and Dr. Ben. Okay? That's what we're going to get into. It's not about the newspaper, kind of spoiler alert, but let me go back and check, make sure everybody's still hearing me okay. Sid, Steve. Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody's hearing me. No problem. There's nothing in the chat saying you're not, so let's keep moving. Okay, so I'd totally forgotten, like I said, but I had ordered this. It came in this huge box. It was a series of, manuals and videotapes. This is back in 1998, folks. So, I've been out for 24 years. Huh. So, got this, box was, waiting for me when I got home that night. And it was all about using these totally different looking, what they called advertorial style newspaper ads to attract new patients. Instead of looking like an obvious advertisement with the typical headline, headshot, copy, and graphics, these ads were designed to look like other news articles in the paper. Now, some of you who are older like me may remember this product from Dr. Ben and from Dan, but I had never seen anything like them. It was the exact opposite of the type of ad all the other consultants I had worked with had been telling me to use, right? The typical headshot, you in the white starched doctor's jacket, trying to look all professional, or worse, having a graphic of a spine and the 7, signs of a pinched nerve. Instead of using image type ads promoting myself and my office and the benefits of chiropractic, these ads were more like PSAs, public service announcements, or what I call consumer awareness ad. It immediately changed everything. Instead of just being another self-serving doctor promoting themselves like everyone else was, this style of marketing positioned me as a trusted resource people could turn to for honest answers. And as a result, I started getting more new patients than I could handle. I had to hire an associate. I even opened up a second clinic in downtown Atlanta, and it was so easy. I simply picked out the ads for the manual for the newspaper of new patients I wanted and ran them in the newspaper. Life was good. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and this time it wasn't an oncoming train. But like I said, this webinar isn't about newspaper advertising. No. First, newspaper is a dying medium. Each year, the average print newspaper loses between 15 and 18% of their readership. And more, publishers are laying off staff and switching to an online format. But probably more than anything, what really ruined everything was that Dan and Ben let things become oversaturated. There wasn't any area exclusivity. And before long, there was a dozen or so other chiropractors in the Atlanta area doing the same thing I was doing in the newspaper. The uniqueness and effectiveness of the ads was quickly lost. Now, I was lucky enough to be the first one in my market to use these ads. I'm always an early adopter. And for a short time, I had the newspaper all to myself. I got to see how well these PSA-style consumer awareness ads worked. But within about 6 months, with all the competition, I could see the writing on the wall. This wasn't going to last. My cost per lead was skyrocketing out of control. I needed to figure something out fast. I wasn't going back to doing the free lunchtime lectures at the local library or spending my weekends at the mall and county fairs doing spinal screenings or any of the other demeaning, time-consuming, soul-crushing crap I had been told was the way to do things as a chiropractor. I'd gotten a taste of what life could be like when I was using the right marketing, and I wasn't going back. I knew that I needed to keep using this PSA-style marketing, but I didn't know where or how I was going to do that. And then it happened, my aha moment, courtesy of Atlanta's largest PI attorneys. I was home having lunch one afternoon between office hours, just relaxing, hanging out with my two best friends, my English Mastiffs, brother and sister, Trudy and Isosceles. Trudy was snoring up a storm as usual, napping on the couch. I remember I was making fun of my wife, Julie, for watching Jerry Springer and one of those trashy judge shows. But then I noticed something, right? Commercial after commercial, one after the other, was for a personal injury attorney, all saying the same thing. You know, the insurance companies are afraid of us. We'll get you the largest settlement allowed by law. We don't make a dime unless you do. I mean, the commercials were and still are horrible. They're unoriginal, uninteresting, just filled with slogans. And yet, I knew these attorneys were the ones who had the biggest and most successful law firms in Atlanta. I knew this because many of the auto accident patients I treated had cases with them. And then all of a sudden it hit me. They had tapped into the incredible power of TV advertising. And I realized that's what I needed to do. If these awful commercials were responsible for building the largest personal injury law firms in Atlanta, I thought, imagine what kind of results I could get if I adapted my PSA-style newspaper ads into 30-second TV spots. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Okay? Forget everything you thought you knew about TV advertising. Contrary to what you may think, it's an untapped new patient goldmine tailor-made for us as chiropractors. And you've been missing out on it for way too long. TV is by far still the most powerful and influential advertising medium on the planet. In fact, the average adult, your new patient prospects, are actually watching more TV than ever these days. According to the AC Nielsen company themselves, you know, the Nielsen rating people, the average adult watches slightly more than 5.2 hours of TV every day. The average U.S. household has their TV on a total of 10 to 11 hours per day. Something to think about, because everybody thinks people are spending their time in front of those two glowing screens, right? Their laptop, their cell phone, those computer devices, but they're also, people love TV, right? And it's magnetic. Nothing else has the power. Nothing else has the power to grab people's attention and communicate a message like TV. You see it every time someone walks into a room. Everyone stops, at least for a few moments, to see what's on, right? Can't help yourself. TV is everywhere. Bars, restaurants, the airport, Jiffy Lube, most doctors' waiting room. The Outback Steakhouse by my house now has more than a dozen TVs placed throughout their dining room. The little diner my mom goes to for breakfast with her friends after church every day now has 5 TVs in a space no more than 1,000 square feet. People love TV. It's like a trusted family friend we all grew up with. Just the fact that your ad is on TV gives it instant credibility. You definitely don't get that with online marketing, where people are skeptical of everything, and for good reason. And TV advertising is a long-term solution. This is one of the best things about it. The longevity and staying power of television is unparalleled. Think about the drug companies, right? They've been using TV for decades, directing millions of patients to contact, right? That's the call to action for they've been using it for decades, and the call to action is always contact your doctor and find out more about their latest and greatest miracle drug, right? Those ads for Viagra with the couple sitting side by side in the tub, they've been on for well over a decade. And what about those attention Medicare beneficiary ads? Attention Medicare beneficiaries. They've been on for more than 20 years. Many of my members have been using the exact same commercials. You saw some of the testimonials earlier. They've been using the same exact commercials for years, getting the same results month after month. Try that with Facebook and Google, where no matter how smart your online guy or gal is, the ads go stale even, every couple of months. Probably, if not every couple of weeks these days, right? Some areas I talk to docs, it's happening within days. They have to learn, scramble how to, keep their ads pulling. When you know how to do it correctly and have the right commercials to use, TV advertising is incredibly cheap. And that's true whether you're in a small town or a big city. See for yourself. This is Josh Nelson, okay? I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, one of the top 10 most expensive TV markets. It's even worse than that now in the entire country. But I was able to run a full day's campaign on network TV that I only invested $97 in and got 31 new patient prospects calling me. I can't believe it. The best part is that all this marketing was going on while I was home spending time with my family. Major town. This one's from Donald Sink in Pittsburgh, another big market. We've had 37 new patients calling us after our first TV commercial ran, and it only cost me 81 cents per call. For the first time in a long time, I'm looking forward to the new year and using your ads to get all my new patients. Well, this one from Dale Kelly. He's in Sparks, Nevada. It's a small town outside of Reno. So just so you can see, from docs, different parts of the country and different sizes. I've only spent $200 and I've already made $11,000 in new case fees. This system brings in the exact type of new patients I want. I can't wait to get my new weight loss commercials and start using them as well. TV advertising is so much cheaper than I ever thought. My average cost per new patient lead is less than $3. This has worked out even better than Dr. Rob said, and I didn't take up any of my time. This has been wonderful. Thanks, Dr. Rob. Now this one, also a small town, Joel Cheatwood and Jason Koenig. They're partners in Hoover, a practice in Hoover, Alabama, very small town. But he wrote in to say, I was very skeptical, but I have to admit the results speak for themselves. I got 76 new patient leads calling me with one of the commercials I started using, and the cost per lead was only $1.58. I used another one and got 58 people calling me, and the cost per lead was only $2.07. And this was no fluke. Here's what happened when I started testing another TV show with the same commercials. First time I ran the commercial, I got 39 leads. My cost per lead was only $6.97. On my last test, we got 52 new patient leads calling us, and the cost per lead was only $4.67. Thanks for everything, Dr. Rob. You're one of the good guys out there in the profession, really helping people. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you live for. I mean, sure, everybody's got to make a living, but I'm not practicing anymore, and this is exactly why I only work with chiropractors. I want to retain this unique way of advertising for us only. Okay. Dwayne Marcotte, Baldwin, Missouri, just out St. Louis, so, another big market. We've been using Dr. Rob's neuropathy TV commercials for the last 4 months, and we're getting hundreds of leads every month for an average cost of just $9.77. Thanks for making this successful for us. I really appreciate your quick responses and the simple and professional way you handle things. Now, listen, I got a couple of these I just want to share because I know you guys are rightfully so skeptical of everybody and everything. I just, kind of wanted to let you know before anything else, because I know when I start talking about TV, and that's why the advertising that I used to bring you to the webinar today is what we call blind lead generation, because I knew if I started talking about TV right away, many of you would say, oh, I know TV. I know somebody who did this, and, it was too expensive and all this and that. So that's why I'm just, taking time to do this. The funny thing is, as we get further into this, you'll see TV's like chiropractic. If you come right out of the gate, hitting the people over the head with chiropractic, maybe the worst move you make. But, a lot of similarities. So, let's move on. This one's from Tom Miller, Lake Oswego, Oregon. Now, I don't think there's any big towns in Oregon, but, hi, Dr. Rob. Just wanted to tell you the great results I've had using your TV ads. It's the cheapest way to get leads I've ever seen, and nothing else I've done has given me as many leads. Last Friday, I got 18 leads at a cost per lead of around $16. Then I got 73 leads the next 2 days at an average cost of just $4.86. Thanks for making your ads available. Now, Dr. Todd Litton and his wife from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They say, I ran the commercials on CBS with a cost per lead of only $10, followed that up with a run on the Fox network and got a cost per lead of just $2. Tim Young, Rockville, Maryland, he's excited. The commercials are fantastic and the response is great. The spots run and the new patients just show up. Your product is terrific and your customer service is great. I love hearing that last part. Now, Heath Bost, okay? Last one. But I just want to, these are just regular folks, just like, you and I living in different parts of the country. And, it doesn't matter where you're at. People watch a lot of TV. People watch a lot of TV. So Dr. Heath writes in saying, I was skeptical, but we sure do get a lot of new patients. I can really dominate my market using these commercials. I need to talk to you ASAP about getting the other commercials you have. Thanks for making them available. Now, and perhaps best of all, these docs never have to worry about having any competition in their market. With TV advertising, each doctor has exclusive rights to their area. And of course, area exclusivity is a double-edged sword. You can also be locked out of your own market forever. Then you'll just have to sit by and watch month after month, year after year, as a chiropractor down the street gets all the new patients that should have been yours. We'll talk more about this later. So, would you like to see a few commercials the doctors are using to get these results? Type yes into the chat box if you're ready to see them. Russ, I know you're going to be up there first. Nobody? You don't want to see the commercials? Cynthia. All right, you guys short? Todd, Scott, where did Russ go? I love all of you on here. I'm just saying. Okay, great. But there's a reason, because if I just showed you the commercials right out of the gate, let me be the first to say, you look at them and be like, what? What are we looking at here? So you got to explain things, okay? That's why I'm taking the time to do all this, because I really don't want you to miss out on this. Could be a great way that I know 99% of you you've had a quick thought about doing it, and then right away you go, I knew somebody that did that and it didn't work, and it's because they use the typical image type ads. So anyway, just wanted to, go over that with you. I really just wanted you to know, what you're looking at before. Okay? So before we look at the commercials, let me explain a few things real quick so you understand exactly why the commercials look the way they do and why they're scripted the way they are. Okay? I think Colleen Carberry, who, we met before. Oh, sorry. I just, dropped something that I got it. Sorry, I just dropped a pen. So this is Colleen Carberry, co-founder of AMI, Advanced Medical Integration. You see their ads all the time in Dynamic Chiropractic. You saw her testimonial, like I said earlier as well. She might have summed it up best when I spoke at AMI's biannual convention in Denver. This is back in 2016, but I always remember it. When she introduced me to her members saying, Dr. Rob's TV commercials are not cute or funny or entertaining. They don't talk about you, your office, or even mention the word chiropractic. But as soon as you see them, you'll understand immediately why they work. And I just thought I couldn't have said it better myself. Now, as I've already said, as a chiropractor, you absolutely do not want to use image type ads. You know what I mean? You on camera in your starch white jacket, standing there looking all professional, talking about your gentle techniques, caring staff, and how chiropractic is the answer they've been looking for. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. It's the number one reason commercials for chiropractors have always failed. Listen, there's a trust gap. We know this. There's a trust gap with us as chiropractors. You know what I'm talking about. People are skeptical. They're not exactly sure what we do. Many people are concerned that our treatment could even be dangerous and possibly hurt them. And why shouldn't they be? Right? The only stories that ever seem to make it into the news about us are how somebody had a stroke after getting their neck adjusted, or, were paralyzed after getting their back cracked. And of course, every step of the way, the medical establishment and big pharma are right there, always trying to ensure that the public's image right? The public's image of us is that we're not real doctors. They know the threat we pose to their monopoly on healthcare and take every opportunity to undercut us, right? I mean, every turn. So, using image type ads for us as chiropractors is not the way to go. No, not when the public's image of us is still dominated by skepticism. To finally have TV commercials that work for us as chiropractors, what needed to be done was to adapt the consumer awareness public service announcement style ads that had already seen work so well in the newspaper into 30-second TV spots. Commercials that never talked about chiropractic or even mentioned the doctor's name. Instead, like with the newspaper ads, they were more like consumer alerts, designed to position us as a trusted resource people could turn to for honest answers they can't get anywhere else. And that is our secret sauce, right? When we get an opportunity for somebody with an open, unbiased mind to come to us for answers, that's where you want to be. That's the positioning you want with your TV commercials. Listen, you want all of the people with the type of and this is important. You want all of the people with the type of condition or problem you want to treat more of calling you, right? Well, if you just use one-step image type TV commercials talking about you and chiropractic, right away you're weeding out forever everyone who isn't convinced immediately that both you and chiropractic care are the answer for them right then. As a result, you end up getting only a small fraction of the new patients you could have. This is the biggest mistake we as chiropractors make with all of our advertising and marketing. And because of it, millions of people never get the care they really need. That needs to be changed. Now, in keeping with the public service announcement tone and feel of the commercials, they also need to have a certain look, a simple, clean, understated appearance. You don't need any actors and actresses on screen. It's not about fancy graphics, screen changes, and multiple camera shots. It's not about having catchy music or jingles. It's not a Super Bowl commercial we're trying to produce or a Disney vacation or trip to Las Vegas we're trying to sell. I wasted literally, and I and I do mean literally, I am using that word correctly, tens of thousands of dollars producing commercials that made use of all the bells and whistles the people at the TV stations told me I needed to employ. Okay? The commercials, they looked great. They had tremendous, what we call production value. And you know what? They didn't work. Hardly anyone called. Turns out all the fancy production stuff I was being told to do actually distracted the viewer from focusing on the serious consumer awareness message I was trying to deliver. The look of the commercials were totally inconsistent with a PSA style ad. I should have known better. After all, newspaper ads didn't use any graphics at all. They were as plain looking as could be. It was only when I stopped listening to the people at the TV station. Like I said, I should have known better because I had already done this in the newspaper successfully. But I didn't. But it was only when I started using the simple single screen commercials that I'm going to show you today that everything came together and I finally started getting results. So let's take a look at a few of these commercials so you can see and hear exactly what I mean. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is for low back pain. Let me just cue it up, and then I'll be back in 30 seconds. So let me just go over here. I got it all queued up for us. I just got to go to a different panel, and here it goes.
The following is a consumer alert announcement for anyone suffering with low back pain. If you're confused and don't know what to do next, this free report reveals why most treatments fail and why some should be avoided completely. Many unsuspecting patients may experience permanent disc and nerve injury. Find out today what you and your doctors may be doing to actually make your back pain worse. To receive your free copy of this brand new report, call the Consumer Education Hotline now, toll free at 1-800-670-3834, and listen to the 24-hour recorded message.
Okay, we're back. Let me put the screen share back on. Make sure that everybody can read along as I'm going along. Okay. So, first, let's talk about the appearance of the TV commercial, the screen, right? As you saw, it's a simple single screen that doesn't change the entire time the commercial is airing. Wasn't stuck and not moving. It's a simple single screen, and that's critical for PSA looking type commercial. There's no fancy graphics, there's no music, certainly no actors. It's just the type of commercial with the basic necessary information up on the screen that you'd expect to see with a public service announcement commercial. And that's exactly how it needs to be. It's a consumer awareness spot. We don't want to look like we're putting in too much effort, like we're trying to impress anyone. Otherwise, it will look like we are selling something, not just promoting a hotline for the public's benefit. Type yes into the chat box if you see why this makes sense. I really want to know. Give me the feedback, what your questions, not questions yet, but, makes sense. Steve, great. Scott. Yeah, there is a time lag. The commercials definitely, it's about a 10-second delay from the time I'm talking to when you guys and gals hear me. So great. So everybody's with me. Good. Because otherwise, I'll just close up shop and go home. Nah. So, it's like anything in life, right? Everything seemed so obvious now. It seems so obvious now, but it took so long with so much trial and error to figure things out. Things like deciding what font and what font size worked best for all the text and the toll-free number. Right? Experimenting and testing with exactly where on the screen to display all the text, the 800 number, the words, low back pain, free report, consumer alert, call toll-free 24-hour recorded message. I have to admit, it all took more than a few years to get things exactly how they needed to be. And don't get me started on how long and how many campaigns it took for me to finally determine that there are really only 5 color schemes. 5 color schemes, that's it, that can be used to give the correct appearance and feel to the screen. Let me explain something very important real quick in case it's on your mind. This is not about mailing out free reports, okay? Nobody's going to be licking stamps or addressing envelopes. It's not about that at all. I'll explain everything shortly. Now, as far as the voiceover, what the commercial actually says, of course, the opening sentence is critical. In keeping with the theme of a public service type announcement, we right away want to identify the commercial as a consumer alert. It's official sounding and sets the tone we want for the rest of the commercial. Okay? Now, in that very first sentence, we also want to call out who we specifically want to pay attention. We want that crowd, that group, to know this important announcement is just for them. Now, we immediately want to say something provocative and thought-provoking that draws them in further, right? That's why I say, if you're confused and don't know what to do next, this free report reveals why most treatments fail and why some should be avoided completely. Many unsuspecting patients may experience permanent disc and nerve injury, right? It's all about building intrigue and stimulating curiosity. And we're Also letting them know right away that nothing is being sold. The only thing being offered is a free consumer report that is being made available to the public so they can find out what they really need to know. So instead of the typical sales pitch that usually comes next, directing people to purchase some product or service, you want your commercial to remain a pure public service announcement, warning them of what they may not be aware of and nobody else will tell them. That's our unique positioning as chiropractors. Nobody can share the information that we know. We just have to have people in that, unbiased, they're not prejudiced, already think, oh, I know what chiropractic is about and, I know a friend and blah, blah. If we can just get that opportunity, right, to talk to somebody one-on-one with an open mind, amazing things can happen. So the fear of missing out, or as the kids say, FOMO, right, causes tremendous curiosity and keeps their attention. And then you finish up with a final statement that raises even more questions and concerns and gets them thinking even more about what they don't know, right? So the commercial says, find out today what you and your doctor may be doing to actually make your back pain worse. Then we give them an easy, non-threatening way to get a free copy of the report. They simply call the consumer education hotline toll-free, listen to a 24-hour recorded message that yours truly records, and this is crucial. You'll get 10 times as many people calling because they know that they're not going to be confronted by an operator or someone picking up the phone on the other end that's going to try to sell them something. You and I might be very comfortable with confronting, and I don't mean in a bad way, but talking to people. Every patient visit, we're confronting people, right? Telling them, why'd they do this? I mean, it never ends. But the average person, when they just want to get some information and we're just opening up a conversation, we want to make it as easy as possible, okay? That's what this is all about. Again, when it comes to these low back commercials, just so you know, it's, real life results are being gotten. Here's Frank Siebenall. Yesterday, we got 22 new low back patient leads. We've had days when we're getting people calling for only $9, and other days we're paying less than $6. This is from David Dunham in, Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been amazed at the response. I'm thrilled at the low back leads we're getting. To be honest, it surprised the heck out of me. 17 leads at a cost of $12.59 per lead. And, just to kind of tie it together. It's from Chris Wellwood in Medical Lake, Washington, says, it was so easy and the cost per lead was only $10. Now, type in yes if you see why these public service announcement style commercials are so different and will work better than the image type ads chiropractors have used in the past. I mean, this is why probably about a third of the people that I talk to who have done, I would say about a third of y'all that have done TV advertising before get on this call, this webinar, pissed. They want to give me, hell, and then they realize once they see the commercial, it's nothing like the typical image ads, that they were using. So, it very, very different. And I know I'm just saying this because I know not a lot, but there's going to be some of you on here that got on just to say, this is crazy. These TV, doesn't work because I've done it before. And the reason why you guys become my best, members is that you had the right idea with TV. It's a great medium. I mean, everything else is changing. I mean, I don't know if any of you do this on your own, but, the Google slap, Facebook is deplatforming people. Google wants to take over how your marketing guys and gals do their thing. I mean, online is just a pitfall. And I know this personally because I'm going to talk to you about who I consult with, is Perry Marshall, and he literally wrote the book on Google AdWords. So while everything else is changing so quickly, TV amazingly stays the same. I mean, there's a reason why the most successful companies in the world, and, in the local area, talking about chiropractors use TV advertising. It works. We just have to use it differently than everybody else. And that's okay. We have to do everything differently than everybody else, right? Let's look at another commercial. Okay? So let me cue this up. It's going to be, this one's for weight loss. Okay. I just asked my, let me go back up here. They changed this a little bit, of course, just in the last few days, I think. Okay, so here's the weight loss video. Let me play that, and then, we'll break it down so you guys and gals can understand what's going on.
The following is a consumer alert announcement for all women aged 35 to 65 struggling with weight loss. Don't start a new diet, take another pill, or even consider surgery until you get a free copy of this unedited internal report that reveals the 7 diet myths the weight loss industry continues to promote to ensure you become a lifelong customer. Don't put your health at risk by not knowing all the facts. To get your free copy of this brand new report, call the Consumer Education Hotline now, toll free at 1-800-383-4886, and listen to the 24-hour recorded message.
And we're back. Let me get this chat. Okay, great. So let me make sure I got the screen share on. I forgot to do that the time before last. I'm getting better as we go through. So it's the same formula at work here, right? that you just saw with the low back pain commercial, right? And of course, it's not just what's being said, it's also how it's being said. This is why I do all the voiceover work myself. I've been a professional. I sound a little rough today, but I've actually been a professional voiceover talent for 20 plus years. So I record all the commercials myself. The voiceover delivery is just as important as anything. The tone, the pacing, the subtle inflections, the pauses. There's a very precise way it all needs to be done. There's a very specific tempo. You want to convey urgency, but not franticness. We're not a used car dealership having a month-end sale. It's an understated but authoritative delivery, more in keeping with what you would see, say with a lung cancer, quit smoking type PSA commercial, right? Now, with this commercial, we're not just calling out everyone struggling with weight loss, right? With this commercial, we want women, specifically women ages 35 to 65 struggling with weight loss, to feel like this commercial alert is something that they specifically really need to pay attention to. In reality, of course, we know that women ages 35 to 65 account for about 85% of our target market for weight loss. But again, if you can simply word the commercial in a way that makes a viewer feel that the announcement is especially for them, has a much greater impact. For example, what if you were home watching TV and a commercial came on saying, "Attention all male chiropractors"? That would catch your attention, right? I mean, it would mine. Of course it would. The ad seems like it's for you personally, even though we know 80% of all chiropractors are male. So, again, like anything, the way something is worded can make all of the difference. And that's what I spend my days doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as a copywriter. I've always done this since I'm a child. I think it's part of my OCD that is the double-edged sword. It makes me I hate to say this, it makes me a really good copywriter, which, whether you're saying something, a script on a webinar, on a TV commercial, newspaper ad, your Facebook ad, it all comes down to how is that message crafted? How is it crafted to impact? And that's what I've been doing, for years now. So, then, right, just like with the low back pain commercial, we immediately hit them with a statement that gets them thinking, wondering what the weight loss industry is holding from them, right, is hiding from them rather, and doesn't want them to know. Again, it's all about curiosity and fear of missing out, building intrigue to the point where they almost have to call the hotline to get that free report. It's human nature. Everyone, and that's what you got to understand about marketing. It's all just tapping into human nature. Everyone wants to know the insiders only information being kept from them. Don't you? So the commercial says, right? The weight loss commercial says, don't start a new diet, take another pill, or even consider surgery until you get a free copy of this unedited internal report that reveals the 7 diet myths the weight loss industry continues to promote to ensure you become a lifelong customer. When you think about it, it's really more like an anti-weight loss commercial. Everyone else is promoting themselves and their product. This is the exact opposite. The only thing being promoted here is a free report that tells them the truth. People trying to sell them something won't. It's a consumer protection type ad is what it really is, okay? And then we finish things up with a provocative statement. Don't put your health at risk by not knowing all the facts. To get your free copy of this brand new report, call the Consumer Education Hotline. And what happens when you do it this way? Well, Dr. Chris Getz down in Miami, Florida, loves the results he's getting. I did very well. I got 36 new patient leads at a cost of just $11.56 per lead. Dr. Tom in Dearborn Heights, Michigan said, we got 17 leads at a cost of $7.17 per lead. Followed that up and got 20 leads. Did it again and pulled 18 leads at a cost of just $12.78. And Dawn Dickut, been with me a long time. She's now the director of operations for the Central Illinois Spine Doctors Clinic in Bloomfield, Illinois. She says, these work. Got 10 new patients calling me for a cost of only $11.33 per lead. Yay. That's not how Dawn sounds. Now let's look at one more commercial. This one is for knee pain, okay? So let me cue that up. You already saw it that this one is focused towards seniors. So let me cue that up. Russ, I want you to just know the lag, I see all your messages. It must be something on your end with your computer. Evan, we're going to talk about conversion rate, right? Because it doesn't matter with the leads. That is the two things. You got your leads generated. You don't want to be doing any work for that. And then you don't want to be doing any work for conversion, right? You only want to see these people in the clinic when they're ready to become a patient. And that's what this is all about as well. It's not just getting leads. As you saw from the testimonials, it's about getting new patients, okay? I talk about the leads when I'm talking about TV mostly because TV generates the leads. But we're going to get to everything as well. So let me cue up this last Think Seeing 3, will give you the whole, you'll see the formula that's being used, okay? So here we go. This last one is knee pain. And, okay, let me get that one going and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
If you're a senior citizen suffering with chronic knee pain, frustrated with taking medications, and want to avoid painful injections and surgery, you need to get this free consumer report that exposes the truth many doctors and the drug companies don't want you to know. Knee surgery often fails and can make your problem even worse, permanently. Find out the options your doctors aren't telling you about. Call the Consumer Protection Hotline now, toll-free at 1-888-410-6464, and listen to the 24-hour recorded message.
And we're back. All right. So let me just get that like we've been doing. Whoa. Sorry about that, guys and gals. I want to make sure I didn't turn something off and get the chat back on. All right. So this particular knee pain commercial calls out seniors who want to avoid getting cortisone injections and having knee replacement surgery. Just like anybody who's having knee problems, right? The progression. But this one just happens to call out seniors. There's always 3 different styles of commercials that we package together. But you'll notice with this commercial, the tempo and pace of the voiceover is slower. Did you pick up on that? A little more deliberate. Because it's for seniors and many of them have trouble with their hearing, we don't want to talk too fast. We want to make sure they hear what's being said, right? Especially with seniors. Now, seniors tend to watch a lot of TV. They're up early and they've got that TV on just about all day. Game shows, talk shows, the news. Heck, my mom watches the news like 4 times a day at least. She's up at 5 a.m., then noon news, then again at 4 and 5 o'clock. And all of our friends are that way too. Seniors are a very responsive group as well. That's why you see a lot of ads on TV directed towards them. Think of those that I was just talking, those attention Medicare beneficiary ads and the reverse mortgage commercials and those senior living ads that are always on. Now, as you just saw, just like the other consumer awareness commercials I've shown you, this ad has one focus. It's designed to raise concerns and get people thinking. Get them curious about what they're not being told, the free report people don't want them to see. Okay? Now, Dr. Jean-Pierre Silvera. I love saying that name. He's down in Claremont, Florida, and he's getting these results. Again, talking about lead generation because that's what the TV commercials do. I'm in the Orlando, Florida market. I was definitely skeptical, but I'm investing under $100 for a campaign on network TV, ABC, and averaging a cost per lead of less than $11. Now, he's in a big area there. Here's a little contrast. Dr. Mark Miller in Lexington, Kentucky. He's impressed. I could not be happier with the results we're getting. I'm getting high quality new patient leads for less than $8. I only wish I had started sooner. I'm so excited about what the rest of the year will bring. Now, okay. These consumer awareness public service announcement style commercials will work for any condition or type of patient you want to bring into your practice. Doesn't matter what it is. So, how about you guys and gals? What types of patients and cases are you trying to attract to your clinic? I'd like to hear. Is it decompression, weight loss, PI, stem cell, regenerative medicine? I mean, that's awesome. Neuropathy, diabetes, low back pain, knee pain, leaky gut. I mean, all good ones. Fibromyalgia, headache, thyroid, neck and shoulder. I like them all. So what are you guys and gals doing? See, you guys go silent. Go silent on me then. All right. I know. Every time I do this, Kairos. I'm here with you guys. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to all the good stuff. Like I said, there's nothing for sale on this webinar, though. But we do have an offer, so don't worry about that. We just want to deal with the right people. Now, let me show you how you can have the highest conversion rate you've ever had turning these leads into paying new patients. First, since the 800 number service automatically captures and verifies their number when people call the hotline, you'll have their actual real cell phone number. Not a fake one like people often give when they opt in online, etc. Calling people right after they've taken action and called for the free report is one of the times when they're the hottest. Why not have one of your staff give them a quick call back right then and get them scheduled for an exam, consultation, dinner workshop, or whatever you want? And if for some reason they aren't able to get them scheduled, or you just prefer they not make calls, no big deal. Since we have people's cell phone numbers, along with their email address and name, of course, which was all gotten when they called the hotline, a coordinated email and text follow-up campaign can now be implemented to do the work for you, getting them scheduled. In fact, for most docs, including myself, a properly written email and text campaign should absolutely be done before letting a prospect meet with you in person. This way you can demonstrate your knowledge and empathy regarding their condition, give insights as to why their problem hasn't been resolved with what they're currently doing, educate them on what chiropractic really is about and how you can help them. And all along the way, you're building rapport and gaining their trust until finally you're seen as the only solution to the problem. By the time they come into the clinic, they're pre-sold on working with you and becoming a patient. Makes things so much easier. A 30-day campaign should be planned out, but most people will schedule themselves within the first 7 to 10 days, but only if you do it the right way. The same style of copy used to script the voiceovers for the TV commercials that got people to take action in the first place and call the hotline is what needs to be used here as well. The TV commercials started the conversation, and the emails and texts need to continue it with the same type of intriguing, thought-provoking, curiosity-building language to get people to take the next step and schedule an appointment with you. Educating them about chiropractic, of course, but pushing their emotional hot buttons. You can't just send out informative, stat-filled, boring emails and texts. You've got to get people's emotions stirred up. That's what gets them to take action. You want them to keep thinking about treatment options their doctors aren't telling them about and maybe don't want them to know. Why drugs and surgery are very likely to make the problem worse. Why they may very well be suffering needlessly. And once you've done that, you'll finally have an automated, reliable, low-cost system in place for bringing in the exact types of new patients you want every single day. Okay? These docs did it. Here's what they're saying. Mike Mountain, Chula Vista, California. I can't recommend it highly enough. I've just exploded my practice. I doubled my practice last year, and I'll double it again this year. Brian McKay, up the road from me in Darien, Connecticut. No competition. Incredible results. Jose Aguilar. This is the only way to go. I've got new patients calling me for low back pain, personal injury, and even headaches. Stuff works. And this last one. You hear that, Russ? This is the last one. Listen, I only kid because, that's my nature. But Dan Joseph, we've gotten off to such a great start, I immediately made sure to reserve my area for 2 more conditions. Imagine. Right? I didn't go through all these when I should have, but imagine never allowing another new patient prospect to steal you or your staff's time, because that's what it is, unless they've already called you, scheduled themselves for an appointment, and are now waiting anxiously for you to step into your exam room, hoping you will accept them as a new patient. Imagine finally being stress-free and relaxed, knowing you can easily grow your practice to whatever size you want without scrambling to figure out how each month. Imagine having the money to buy anything you or your family want, any time you want, and finally having the time to enjoy it. You deserve it. So where do you go from here? Well, you've seen how this simple 2-step system works, how the consumer awareness, public service announcement style commercials generate high quality leads for a low cost for any condition you want. We've discussed how to craft the correct email and text follow-up campaign to convert those leads into paying new patients. The only thing that matters, right? Paying new patients that accept your case fees and care plans. You've seen testimonials from doctors all over the country, just like you, bragging about the results they're getting. So what do you do next? Now, although many of you will want to do this, I know most of you don't want to spend the time or money figuring it all out on your own. So let's talk and see how I can help. I've had my team set aside time on my schedule over the next 72 hours so I can speak with you one-on-one about how to do the same thing for your clinic. We'll get on a Zoom call for about 45 minutes, and during that session, I'll put together a step-by-step game plan specifically for your practice to fill it to capacity. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get started, and we'll figure out what you may want some help with. Now, normally, when somebody books me for one of these Zoom strategy sessions, I charge a fee of $949. But there's no charge to you for this call. It's the free gift I mentioned earlier in the webinar. But you do have to qualify for it. Number one, you must be good at what you do. you get results for your patients and make their lives better. My team and I are here to support doctors that are passionate, whose number one motivation is helping people. You must be a good ambassador for the profession and represent the highest standards. No joke. I don't joke about that. Number two, you must desire growth for your practice. I want to help docs that have big goals, right? We've got this area exclusivity thing going on. So there's only one doc in each area. So that's why I want to make sure we're giving that area exclusivity to the right doc, right? We want to help as many people as possible. We want docs who want to help as many people as possible in their community every single week. Docs that aren't afraid of seeing more new patients in the next 90 days than they now see all year. Okay? Number three, you must value what you do as a chiropractor and what you offer the public. You're not afraid to charge what you're worth, and your case fees reflect that. You do incredible things with the special skills and talents you work damn hard to get. No more undervaluing yourself. You should be one of the wealthiest people in your community. And the more financially secure you and your family are, the more you can give back to your community and the charities you want to support. Now, on the screen, just below the chat box, you'll see that there is a button. And the button says, right, click here now to reserve your spot. So that's what you need to do. Go there right now. I just want to make sure that it's up. Yep, I've got it. Free strategy session. Click now to reserve your spot. I'm going to leave that up as we continue talking. So let me get back to my film. Okay. So the button's up there. It should be on your chat box. It should be above where you would type in. It should be right above there, a blue bar. So if that's you, right, then I want you to go ahead and click the button on your screen and apply for one of these 45-minute sessions right now. And as I said, it's entirely free. And I promise you that if we do get on a call for 45 minutes, it'll change the rest of your career. So why am I offering you a free $49, free $949 consultation? Two reasons. One, chiropractic profession has been incredibly good to me. I have a level of freedom and prosperity that I never dreamed possible. I feel blessed. I'm grateful to be in such a position and be able to pay it forward and lend a helping hand to my fellow chiropractors. Sharing marketing insights that I was lucky enough to discover that I wish I would have known before I almost quit the profession. I'm so sick and tired of seeing my fellow chiropractors bust their butts, working long hours, giving of themselves, going that extra mile, and not having the income and lifestyle that should go along with it. And of course, as I said earlier, although many of you will want to implement the action plan we put together during our Zoom strategy session, I know many of you won't want to spend the time and money figuring out each step and doing it on your own, and would rather have me help you with it or even just do it all for you. And if you want my help, that's great. We can certainly talk about that. I'll implement the same two-step system as Dr. Stuart Swan, as Dr. Jeff Ermacher, and Dr. Mark Holland, and Dr. Jeff Gilbert, and Dr. Dale Kelly, and Dr. Rob Rubino, and all the other docs whose success stories you've heard today. There's a fee, of course, and before anything, we'll make sure it's a good fit for both of us. I have some questions. I'm sure you do too. I want to make sure I'm giving area exclusivity to the right doctor. Either way, you're going to get tremendous value and clarity out of our time together. So go ahead and click the button on your screen right now and book an appointment with me. There'll also be a short questionnaire where you can give me a little background on where you're at with your practice right now and where you want to be in the next 6 months. Let me know the challenges and obstacles you're having with your marketing, your staff, your patients, what you're frustrated with or worried about, what keeps you up some nights. And just to make sure everything is working properly, can you test clicking that button right now and let me know if there's a problem? Could you do that right now? Let me click over to the chat. Anybody? I just want to make sure that we're not having a problem with it. It's that blue button, white lettering. All right, I got to move forward. So I just want to make sure, every once in a while there'll be a glitch with, tech. So I just want to make sure that, we're not having a problem with that right now. So listen, if you ever want to have the practice, bank account, and lifestyle you and your family deserve, you got to stop accepting the status quo and doing what everybody else is doing. If you're not already living the lifestyle of your dreams, how much longer are you going to wait? Someday never comes unless you take action. I know that you were meant, every one of you I know was meant for a bigger life than the one you're living right now. I know you're frustrated and frankly, you feel cheated. You ask yourself, has it all been worth it? You've taken on all the risks, the constant stress of running a practice. Where's the big payoff? When you finally get rewarded the way you should be for all your hard work and sacrifice? I mean, is this it? Is this where you and your family are going to be stuck for the next 10, 20, 30 years? Forget about what you've tried in the past and been disappointed by. None of that matters anymore. Go ahead and click the button on the screen and do it now, because there are several hundred docs on this webinar. Actually, yeah, we got it. Well, on right now, 515. I think we did start out with about 585, but and remember also, if you want me to do it all for you, I can only provide turnkey service to one doctor per area. And one of your competitors could very well be on this webinar too. So click the button and reserve your spot now. Let's automate the entire new patient getting process for you, from suspect to prospect to satisfied client, in the easiest and fastest way imaginable. Okay? Folks, I'm out of here. I'm looking forward to talking to as many of you as possible. That's why I did a shorter webinar than usual, because I really want to just make sure that we're giving these areas to the right doc. Not like we're trying to exclude anybody. I just want to make sure everybody's got the right motivation. I want to hear what conditions you're going after. So that's why we just want you to fill out a quick questionnaire, so when I get on the call with you, I'll already have some background. Okay, so everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to talking with you soon.